What's up guys, this is Mike the Detroit Borg here, kneeling in my foyer right now with a very large box that I'm about to open, which is the Pioneer VSX-1021-K. This is an AV receiver or audio video receiver, basically a big black box that connects all your components in your home theater system. So this connects your television, your speaker system, and all the components that you attach to it, like an Xbox, Apple TV, a Mac Mini, or a DVD player or Blu-ray player, or your satellite receiver or cable box. And that routes everything into this one box, which gives you full surround sound and allows you to switch between them on your television. So anyway, what's particularly interesting about the 1021K is that it brings a lot of iOS features to the box built in. So this has AirPlay capability, so you can broadcast audio from an AirPlay device like your computer, or like an iOS device like an iPad or iPhone or iPod Touch. So let's take a look around this box and see what we get. Now on the box you can see all the devices it's compatible with, including the iPod 5th generation and up, as well as the iPad and the iPhone 4. Now this product was launched before the release of the iPad 2 and the iPhone 4S, so you don't see it indicated here, but it is compatible with everything. Alright, so let's go ahead and crack into this box to see what we get. So inside we get our packet with all our accessories, including antennas, cables for connecting iPods and iPads. We have our microphones for setting up the surround sound, batteries, and we're going to take a look at that in just a minute. We also have our remote control. So we'll take a look at those in just a minute, but first let's get this giant receiver out of here. Alright, let's just peel back this styrofoam. We probably have the back of the receiver here because we have our cable. So there are all of our connectors. We rotate this around, peel back the front. And there is the control panel, which we'll take a look at once we get powered on. Now taking a look at our accessories included, we do have an FM antenna which connects to the back of the receiver. We also have an AM loop antenna. Back here we have our microphone, so this connects to the front of the receiver, allows you to calibrate the surround sound of the system automatically, works brilliantly. I've been using this for a long time. I can't imagine buying a receiver without this capability. We also have some software which I probably will not need to use. We do have a connector for or a cable for the iPod, iPad, etc. So this allows you to directly connect your iPad, iPhone 4 to the receiver, so you can browse the content directly on your AV receiver and connect your audio digitally to the receiver, so you get high quality audio right from your iOS device. Now, as you can see, we have a dock connector with these spring-loaded clasps on the side, which snap in, and you can see we have a USB connector which connects to the front, as well as a video connector, which is optional. So if you want to output video from your iPhone, your iPad, or iPod, this allows you to do that. Now the remote itself is crammed full of buttons with secondary and tertiary functions. It's not the most user-friendly remote you're going to use. Generally, I don't use it. What I do is use a Logitech Harmony 1, and this ends up sitting in my drawer collecting dust. And of course, we get plenty of literature here, including how to use AirPlay and what it's compatible with. So any iOS device that supports iOS 4.2 and up. We also have a flyer here which tells us how to properly wire a speaker so we don't short out, and we have a very large manual which is typical of any AV receiver because there is lots to learn. Taking a look around our big black box here, we have this metal chassis which is well ventilated. Of course, this is an amplifier, so this does produce some heat, so you want to give this plenty of room to breathe. Now if we look at the bottom, we have this metal plate along with these decorative metal feet, so it does look kind of nice inside a media rack. Now the interesting part of any AV receiver is what's on the back, because this is where everything connects, and this is where you learn whether this receiver meets your needs or not. So let's take a look around. Of course, we have all our speaker connectors, including a subwoofer cable, so this allows you to connect your subwoofer directly to the receiver. And we have all our right, left, center, surround sound, surround back, front, high speakers all lined up here, and these are banana plug capable speakers. So basically all you have to do, if you have banana plugs attached to your speaker wires, just plug them into the center and you're all set. Or if you have bare wire like I do, all you have to do is unscrew these and slip your wire in on the side channel, tighten them up, and you're set to go. On the left side, we have all our component connectors, including 5 HDMI connectors, which are assignable. Below the HDMI connectors are all our analog connectors with video on this side and audio on the right side. Now you can see anything with this dot pattern around it represents the fact that these are outputting. So they're outputting from the receiver, the rest are inputting. So we have 2 sets of component in, and 1 that goes out, so 1 to the television. Now with video, we have 4 that point into the receiver. One comes from the TV satellite, 1 comes from video in, 1 comes from another video in, and 1 comes from the DVD, and you can specify exactly what that means, and the rest go out. Now we also have additional audio connectors here, again analog, right and left. So certain devices need to have both in and out, such as DVR, BDR, so we have out and in, CDR tape out and in, Zone 2 out and in. Below that are everything that's just in, such as TV satellite, video 1, and DVD. So if you're using analog for those devices, you would input the audio this way and you would point the video into these ports. Now on this side we have control in and out, which is basically a proprietary system by Pioneer that allows you to connect using a wire other Pioneer devices, so this will allow you to control them. So for example, if you power off the Pioneer receiver, it will automatically power off anything that's connected using this cable. We also have IR in and out, so if you want to connect an IR blaster or IR receiver, you can do so here. Now we also have antennas, so we have an FM antenna and then we have an AM loop antenna with the spring-loaded clasp for grabbing the cables of the AM loop, and we also have our Sirius in connector. So if you have a Sirius receiver, you just connect it here. We also have an adapter port just above that, which allows you to connect, again, a proprietary device sold by Pioneer that allows you to use Bluetooth A2DP for broadcasting Bluetooth audio from compatible devices such as iOS devices. But because this is capable of AirPlay, we really don't need that. On the top here, we have a connector for a wireless LAN port, so you can buy a wireless receiver from Pioneer for about $150. Unfortunately, this does not have wireless built in, so you do have to buy that adapter if you want wireless. Or you can connect a LAN cable, so if you have a available landline, you just connect it that way, and that's how you'll connect to the internet. Now in my case, what I'm going to do is use this with an Apple Airport Express, so that's only $100 versus $150 for the Pioneer supplied adapter. Now on this side we have 4 digital audio connectors, 2 coaxial and 2 toslink optical, and you can see that they are assignable, although by default they're DVD, CD, TV satellite, or DVR BDR. Now taking a look at the front panel, you can see it's a very shiny black plastic that reflects everything, including me and my tripod here. It does reflect dust as well, so it shows any dust or fingerprints you have. Of course, there are some buttons here, but you won't spend a lot of time touching this. Of course, this sits in your theater cabinet, and you shouldn't have to touch it too much at all. You'll end up using your remote control. So we do have 2 knobs here. One is for the signal selector, so this allows you to select HDMI 1, HDMI 2, Blu-ray, radio, iPod, whatever. We also have our volume controller here. We also have our power and standby button here, and we have our 1/4-inch phono jack right here, which allows us to connect headphones. Of course, with headphones that don't have 1/4-inch jacks, you'll need to use an adapter. Now, we do have some of our labeling here, which indicates some of the features built in. So of course we have HDMI, this is Sirius ready, and we have our signal processing for audio. So we have DTS Neural Surround, we have DTS HD Master Audio, and we have Dolby True HD Pro Logic. So this is definitely going to give you all the surround sound processing you need for 7.1 and better. Now we also have DLNA support, so for all those non-Apple devices that support DLNA networking, this will work. We also have 3D game and movie broadcasting, which basically means this is compatible with 3D televisions and 3D consoles and 3D Blu-ray players, so this will handle 3D signals through the HDMI ports. We also have 1080p upscaling, so anything that's not 1080p that's connected to us, like a DVD player, this will upscale it to 1080p. And this is compatible with the iPhone and iPad, so you do get full digital audio from your iPhone and iPad if you connect it directly to the USB port. Now, speaking of that USB connector, it's right behind this little door, which you just sort of push to pop off. Now it's not permanently hinged or fixed to the front panel, which makes this kind of easy to lose. Not a big fan of this. I know the 1020 also had this. So I wish they would redesign this. It does keep a nice clean profile on the front panel, but it doesn't, it's not necessarily very practical. But anyway, we do have our connectors here, our front connectors here. So all we get here is an MC-ACC setup microphone port. So this allows you to connect the microphone to set up your surround sound system. So this automatically calibrates your surround sound system using an automated program, which is very nice. Now this goes back quite a few model years with the Pioneer receivers. Now we also have standard RCA jacks, so we have left and right as well as video, and we have a USB connector. Now this USB connector works with the cable for the iPad and iPhone that's included with the Pioneer receiver. So what you do is basically connect the USB connector to the USB port and connect the video connector to the video input. So this allows you to get audio and video from your iPad or your iPhone or your iPod. Now with the receiver turned on, we can take a look at that LED dot matrix display, which is pretty simple. Right now it's in demo mode. There's not a whole lot to see here, but it allows you to visually see how the system works, and you can see I'm using the input selector here to select between the available options. So we have tuner for radio, adapter port, which is that Bluetooth adapter, Sirius, Blu-ray, DVD, TV satellite, DVR or BDR, video 1, video 2, HDMI 1, HMG, which I'm not sure right now what that is, iPod USB, CD, CDR tape, tuner, adapter port again, so we're back to the front, Sirius, Blu-ray, etc. All right, so we can have other options here. So we can select our iPod USB. We can go to the adapter port. We also have advanced surround, which basically cycles through various programs for processing audio. So we have rock pop, so it's calibrated best for that sort of music. We have unplugged, extended stereo, surround focus, surround wide, retriever air, action, drama, sci-fi, monofilm, etc., etc. So you get the idea there. And then we can go to standard surround. So these are the standard presets. So that's Dolby Digital, music, game, Dolby Pro Logic, Pro Logic 2, Neo 6 Cinema, music, neural surround, and basic stereo. So you get the idea here. You have lots of processing options to pick from. And you have one more toggle here for selecting other audio processing options like Auto Surround, ALC, Direct, or Pure Direct. Now with the receiver connected to a TV, we can now take a look at the on-screen user interface, which is very basic with very low resolution graphics. Here you can set up and configure the receiver's audio balance, input assignments, or network settings. However, the best way to control your Apple-friendly receiver is to use the iControlAV app for the iPad or iPhone, both free in the App Store. This is where the Pioneer receiver really stands out because the app permits more precise control over all settings on the AV receiver in a very user-friendly interface. You can control very basic functions such as controlling volume or selecting the input device. The app also features very granular control over the audio settings such as emphasis, balance, and fade. Now, controlling these settings takes advantage of the multi-touch user interface on the iPad or iPhone. So to increase the bass or dialogue emphasis, you simply pinch in and out. The app also makes it very easy to rename the inputs to correspond with the devices attached to them. To do this with a remote on the receiver is considerably more clumsy. We also have internet radio on the receiver, which is once again much more easy to navigate and control with the aid of the app. With built-in support for Apple's AirPlay, any iOS 4.2 device and up will be able to use the local network to connect to the receiver for audio playback. The receiver will appear among the AirPlay available components on your iOS device automatically. There's no setup necessary. Selecting the receiver will prompt the receiver to automatically switch over to the HMG input, and your monitor will display the cover art and track information. This will also work with any iTunes-equipped computer connected to the same network. Simply tap the AirPlay icon and choose the Pioneer receiver. Overall, I think AirPlay is a nice feature to have, but it can't replace the full functionality of an Apple TV, and I can't imagine I will end up using this over the Apple TV, especially since the AV receiver doesn't support AirPlay with video. But in the end, we are left with one of the best mid-range receivers on the market with lots of connectivity features. So if you're in the market for an AV receiver under $400 and want both class-leading audio quality and features, this one should definitely be at the top of your list. So once again, guys, this is Mike, the Detroit Borg. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.